The signal hits Cael like a blade through sleep. He jolts upright on the thin cot, gasping, the air in the safe house basement still tasting of recycled dust and cold metal. The sound isn't sound at all. It's a frequency threaded directly into the base of his skull. A vibration that bypasses his ears entirely and lands somewhere behind his eyes. Bright and wrong, and singing with data he can't read. His fingers are already shaking when the second pulse comes. This one carries a voice. They have your resonance signature, young star. The Sovereign's net is closing. You were found before you woke. The dragon's telepathic tone is ancient and unhurried. The way deep water is unhurried. But beneath it, Cael feels something he has never felt from one of the sky beings before. Urgency that borders on fear. He throws his legs over the side of the cot. Across the room, Jun is snoring softly beside a gutted console, soldering iron still warm in his loose hand. Myrtle sleeps sitting upright against the wall, arms crossed, like she's strategizing even in dreams. And Lyra is already awake, silver-dark hair framing a face lit by the faint blue glow of her wrist screen. Her eyes find his in the dark. "You heard it too," she whispers. Within 4 minutes, the entire cell is moving. Jun wipes solder grease on his jacket and starts pulling encrypted maps across 3 floating hollow panels. Myrtle stands over his shoulder, already calculating routes through the city spire's surveillance corridors. Sara paces near the blast-sealed door, her hand resting on the plasma cutter at her hip, jaw tight with the kind of energy that means she's either about to do something brilliant or something catastrophically reckless. Cael presses his palms flat on the planning table and tries to breathe. Far above them, beyond the safe house ceiling, and 60 vertical levels of neon-veined infrastructure, the spire of Caethara hums with the Sovereign's machinery. Sensor drones drift between the towers like luminous insects. Every citizen carries a biotag that pulses loyalty data to Malrek's central array. The Empire doesn't need soldiers on every corner when it has algorithms that can taste dissent in a heartbeat's rhythm. And somewhere in that web of surveillance, Cael's name is now a live target. The signal was a sweep pulse, Myrtle says, calm as mathematics, military grade. If they've locked his cosmic resonance, they can track him within a 2-kilometer radius by morning. So we move before morning, Sara says. Jun pulls up a route that threads through the old thermal exhaust network, beneath the spire's eastern wall. A path that exits at the broken edge of the orbital ruins above the cloud line. Where the dragons wait. We get to the sky, Jun says quietly, or we don't get anywhere at all. They gear up in near silence. Cael is checking the charge on his pulse shield when Lyra steps close, her voice pitched low enough that only he can hear. That dragon voice, it wasn't Tandra's. It wasn't any of the 3 we've bonded with. She pauses. "Cael, how many of them know your name?" He doesn't have an answer. The honest truth is that things have been happening inside him, flickers of cosmic energy, fragments of memory that don't belong to his 17 years, and he hasn't told anyone the full scope of it. Not even her. Lyra reads the hesitation on his face like text. "You're doing it again," she says, "carrying things alone and calling it protection." "I'm not trying to." "I know you're not trying to." Her voice softens, and for a half-second the sharpness that guards her drops away entirely. "My mother did the same thing, kept secrets to keep me safe." right up until the night the Sovereign's enforcers came, and she didn't have anyone left who knew enough to help her. It's the most Lyra has ever said about her mother. Cael feels the weight of it settle between them, heavy and trusting and terrifying. He reaches out and folds his hand around hers, just once, just briefly. After this run, he says, I'll tell you everything I don't understand yet. She squeezes back. Neither of them says the bigger thing pressing against the silence, but it's there. Warm and undeniable, filling the space between their fingers. The thermal exhaust network is a jagged vertical hell of corroded ladders, broken gratings, and wind that screams upward with enough force to strip skin. Jun navigates by memory and holomap. Sora leads the climb. Myro watches behind them for pursuit signatures on a cracked scanner. Cael climbs with his heart slamming against his ribs, and somewhere around level 42, the first drone finds them. It drops into the shaft like a chrome wasp, red targeting laser sweeping the dark. And Sora kills it with a single plasma cutter slash before it can transmit. But the second drone is already screaming a burst code into the network. And the walls around them flood with strobing emergency light. Go, Myro says, the single calmest word Cael has ever heard anyone speak. Go now. They go. The last 30 levels blur into desperate motion. Cael's magic surges without permission, crackling along his forearms in silver-blue arcs that bend the metal around him. Warping ladder rungs into footholds exactly where he needs them. He doesn't know how he's doing it. The power feels like instinct laced with something older. Like the muscle memory of someone who has done this 1,000 times in a body he has never worn. They explode out of the exhaust port into open sky, and the wind nearly takes them. Then the dragon is there. Tandris descends through the cloud line like a cathedral made of light. Scales rippling between deep violet and burning gold. Wingspan wide enough to shadow the entire eastern platform. Her telepathic voice wraps around all 5 of them at once, steady and immense. Hold fast, the drones cannot follow where I fly. Cael grabs Lyra's arm. Jun grabs Sora. Myro simply steps forward and places her palm against the dragon's offered claw with the quiet dignity of someone who has calculated the odds and decided that faith is the only variable left. Tandris launches upward and the city spire falls away beneath them, shrinking into a needle of light in a field of clouds. And for 10 impossible seconds, the only thing that exists is speed and starlight, and the ancient mind of a dragon singing through Cael's bones. They land on the shattered deck of an orbital ruin that drifts at the edge of atmosphere. Half cathedral, half shipwreck, open to the stars. Cael is still catching his breath when the memory hits him. It doesn't come gently. It crashes in like a wave breaking through a wall. He sees a chamber deep beneath the earth, older than the empire, older than the city spires. He sees his own hands, except they aren't his hands, pressing against a crystalline core that pulses with the same cosmic energy that now lives inside him. And he hears a voice, not a dragon, not human, something between, saying words that burn themselves into his mind. The Aetherion was never a weapon, it was a covenant, and you are the last signatory. He comes back to the present on his knees, gasping. Lyra is beside him, her hand on his shoulder, and Tandris watches from above with eyes like molten suns. What did you see? Lyra asks. I think, Cael manages. I think the power Malrek is stealing from living worlds isn't just energy. It's a piece of a pact, and somehow my bloodline is written into the original contract. The silence that follows is broken by Jun. He's staring at his hollow screen, face drained of color. His hands aren't steady anymore, and Jun's hands are always steady. Cael. His voice cracks. That sweet pulse, the one that locked your resonance. I just finished decrypting the source header. He turns the screen so everyone can see. It didn't come from the Sovereign's array. The transmission origin blinks on the display, tagged to a biofrequency that every person on the orbital ruin recognizes. It came from inside the rebellion. Cael stares at the screen. The stars burn cold around them. Somewhere far below, the Empire's drones are already rising through the clouds, following a trail that someone they trusted lit like a beacon. Tandras's voice enters his mind, quiet and ancient and grieving. The betrayal is older than you know, young star, and the next step will cost more than courage. The wind howls across the broken deck. Nobody speaks. And Cael understands, with a certainty that settles into his chest like iron, that whatever comes next, there is no turning back. If you need to know who lit that signal, subscribe to Cosmic Casefile. Chapter 6 drops soon, and what Cael discovers will change everything.